Okay. We need to get that done today. Get this man off a dead sentence. Okay.
Mr. President, I don't know that we can get this done. When you say get it done, I don't know that we can get it done today. I mean,
Well, let's go ahead and let him have his zoning and get that out of the way. And
I don't think it's a matter of letting him have his zoning on this
Why
piece
not?
of property. I think Robert explained that to us in the last meeting in terms of what the property has on, hold on, I think what the property has on Madison and what we have on Jefferson. So I don't think we can, it's a matter of letting him have his zoning if it's not zoned properly.
It came to us as proper. And Robert changed his mind along the way, but we've got something in front of us. Do we need to tell this man no? Or do we need to tell this man, what do we need to tell this man? We're holding this man up, okay?
Yes, sir. So, as I said the last time when this item came up, that we don't recommend the rezoning from the one zone to the one that he wants because it wouldn't be in compliance with the downtown, Montgomery plan, which is what we've been in the process of implementing, since 2007 when it was adopted. And, we've garnered over, $100 million in investment. And, if we do this, we would be going against, the recommendations of the downtown plan.
But we've already gone against it.
No, sir,
We did. Our planning commission and planning department went against the deal. So now it's left to council to change what's already been done by the planning department and the planning commission. Correct?
Well, so the planning commission, they did recommend the,
Who controls, who recommends the planning commission?
who recommended to the planning commission?
Who works for the planning commission? Planning department, right?
Right,
Okay.
right.
So you're committed like they are. So now we can correct what y'all
No,
did.
I'm not.
Well, it must have been if they wouldn't have got through.
Well, I mean, yeah, initially I did say it was okay,
Okay.
but as I said to you before, I did not consider the downtown plan, and I would have sent that to them, but that's my fault.
So your recommendation is to turn it down, right?
Recommendation is not to approve the rezoning request
Okay.
because of the downtown plan.
Okay.
And again, as I said, we spent a great deal of money to change downtown and allowing an auto-oriented, land use on a significant corner like the one over here, directly across from City Hall, would be going against, what we recommend. So that is the recommendation.
Robin, I got one question. Have we made any exceptions, or we've been pretty true to that 07 plan? And I don't know. I don't have a clue.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Have we made any exceptions to the 07 plan?
Not very many at all. No, sir.
Well, we have.
We generally have stuck to what the plan recommendations are. I mean, if there have been, there have been minor exceptions to it. I mean, anybody can come and request a rezoning on any piece of property, but that does not mean that that's the way that it should be.
Well, but if we did it for them, we've committed to that, to breaking the rule, right?
Yes, if we did it, but I don't know of many cases where we have done that unless it was for a really, really good reason.
Okay, all right,
But I don't believe that this is a reason that is good enough.
okay.
And they did not have all of the information that they needed to make a proper decision. Because we've been so focused on the Envision Montgomery 2040 comprehensive plan that we just adopted in July of 2020, that somehow this one slipped through the cracks on making sure that the more fine-grained, detailed plan is given to them as well. And so that's on us and on me.
If we passed it, it would go before another board, right?
Correct. So if that is correct, if you do approve it, it would have to go before the Consolidated Review Committee,
Okay,
which is all internal city staff, to make an administrative decision on whether or not to further approve it and allow it.
okay.
So yeah, I mean there are multiple fail safes to check the checker, so to speak.
So we basically got the man where we want him.
I'm sorry, say that
We gotta
again?
do what we want him to do.
I'm sorry, I didn't,
The man has to do what we want him to do. We got him.
correct,
He can't
correct.
use his property.
Correct. Well, no, I mean, he just can't use it for an auto-oriented land use. There are, the table that I gave you the last time, there are a number of uses that he can use the property for. I mean, it only prevents him from being able to use it
Cannot be
for,
used for what it's designed for, right?
correct.
All right. We'll sit at 5, okay?
Okay?
All right, number 2. New Moon Bar, they gonna be here at 5 o'clock, is that the one we got coming at 5?
Yes, sir, this is a review.
Review at them
Yes,
at
sir.
5? Okay. All right, number 3,
Number 3, Mr. Davis, do you mind coming up? I'll ask you to talk during the work session so we can just vote during the council meeting because we've carried it over quite some time. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Any questions for Mr. Davis on this program?
yeah, I do. The city, really, you put the city's name on all your stationery when you solicit this. So what is the liability of the city in this scenario?
Great question, Councilmember Jenright. We have a hold harmless indemnity clause that covers any city that partners with us. So for all of our 1,300 city partners, to date, we've never had to use that. So there's never been any legal action in 15 years taken against the city about our program. But if it did, then we have an indemnity clause where we would cover that and work with whatever citizen or attorney had an issue. But to date, it has never happened.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question. I just, if I could, just ask Stacy to kind of, do you mind? She kind of gave me the look like, not me. Just sharing, I emailed you about it, and this is not the first time that this company has presented themselves to the city of Montgomery, and just because you're counsel for the city, lead attorney, senior attorney, I just like to hear, kind of what you got as you looked into this, please.
Well, and I will be speaking off pure memory at this point. I know I have a little bit of a refresher because I communicated with you and Councillor Johnson about this, but I believe you and the mayor's policy advisor, Mr. Ensler at the time, spoke about this at length. And that was that in 2020 or 21?
I believe it was pre-COVID.
And after I reached out to some other cities, it appeared that at least in Alabama, you partnered with their waterworks as if they had a separate waterworks system, like in Birmingham. And I say that just because after I talked to the city of Birmingham, then their recommendation and what they encouraged HomeServe to do was to partner with the Waterworks Board. So my recommendation was that you reach out to the Waterworks Board and see if you could partner with them. And that's kind of where we left it. They have provided some statutes that give them the authority or give us the authority to partner, but it just appeared to me, and it seemed at the time my recommendation was that they reach out to Waterworks.
And I could speak to where I went from that point if I could.
Yes. Go ahead.
So we did reach out, and at the time they were not interested in working with us. I will say that almost 95% of the cities that we work with are with the city council directly and not with the water utility. That is a one-off in Birmingham. And if there are others in Alabama, it's very rare. And here's why. If you start working with the water utility, people think, is it going to be on my water bill? Is my water bill going to go up? Things like that. It doesn't. It's not on the water bill. This is voluntary. This is an education and awareness program to let homeowners know that it can be very expensive when their service lines break. And this is the way that the city of Montgomery can say, we have partnered with a National League of Cities trusted 15-year partner that has done this program all over the country. And for a very low, like for $5.75, you can get $8,500 worth of warranty work done unlimited times per year, no matter how many issues you have. And you can't get that on the street. You can't get that anywhere. So that is why it's very important that we work with City Council. We do not touch any part of Montgomery Water's infrastructure. This is all on the homeowner's side, and that's why city councils and the National League of Cities feel it should be more civic-driven instead of utility-driven.
That's a good explanation, Brian. And I think lastly, I know from me, I spoke to you about a couple of people asking, would the city be paying for it?
Absolutely not. There is no money that the city has to pay us other than the staff time it takes to approve our letter that we want to send out. And there is I'm not going to say that's free because it's a paid city employee that is looking over our letter. But other than that, minimal cost, probably under $100 of their hourly wage to look at our letter, that's it. Having said that, we will contribute based on homeowners that participate. So if we get a homeowner that buys a water line warranty or a sewer line warranty, if they buy both, we will set up a low-income assistance fund that will be $1 a month for that one household that we contribute, not out of their policy rate, but out of our contribution plan. So what that's projected for Montgomery is over a 3-year period. If we get our average of about 20,000 enrollments, and let's just say all 20,000 of those households get water and sewer, that would be $760,000 that would go into a low-income assistance fund over 3 years. Now here's why that's good. If someone calls you and says, council member, my line is broken, the plumber says it's going to be $8,000, well, do you have the warranty? No, I don't. Well, you can call this number and they'll reach our office and we will find a Montgomery plumber to fix it and we pay for it. So that comes out of our pocket, out of that fund that we put in escrow for the city, and you will know every quarter how much money is in that low-income assistance fund, and so you can route us to that homeowner and we'll handle their issue with a Montgomery local plumber.
Has to be licensed, correct?
Yes, they have to be licensed. Thank you.
You was gonna say something?
Yeah, Mr. President.
Yeah.
With that, what you just said about the injury fund, $700 and some thousand, what would be the incentive for you to join or reach and pull this insurance if you can go into a program like that where you don't have to purchase it?
That's a great question. It is more of an emergency fund. What we have found is that even at $5.75 a month for water or $9.99 for sewer, if they wanted one or both of those products, some people just can't afford it. If they can't afford it and then call and want the free warranty, there's a series of questions that you could ask to qualify whether or not they need that. But it can also be to pay maybe a water bill that has accumulated because of a leak and things of that nature. So it is at your discretion how that's used, and we can guide you on some policies to make sure that it's very ironclad as to who gets the help and you know who is first in line for that. But that's a great question.
So your company will manage that?
Yes, sir. We will hold the funds and let you know how much is in there, and when you come to us with someone in need, then you pass the baton and we take care of it.
Who is you?
It's Home Serve USA.
No. Who at the city handles this?
I think you're saying the council members.
It would be as these calls come to the council offices.
The funds, though, keeping up with that, whose responsibility?
His company.
At the city?
So we would forward, we would find a council contact or someone in the city council office, like a council administrator, and we could send an update every month or every quarter as to how much money is in that low-income assistance fund. My previous contact here was Robert Smith, so we could actually send it through his office if that would work.
He's not with the council. He's a city employee. I think the reality of a city employee needs to be involved.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, we all part-time, okay? We
Absolutely.
need somebody that's here full-time that knows what's going on and keep up with it.
Great
And
point.
I have a question. So I know we're talking about sewer line and water lines. What if someone has septic tank
We cover that as well.
Oh, would you cover septic tank?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Which can be really expensive.
It is. That was a good question, Councilor Graham. I just got a call maybe a couple of weeks ago from someone in Madison Park. She has issues and she needed to get her septic line replaced. It was time, and she doesn't have the money. It's about, I think she told me about $9,500, and she was curious on where our ARPA dollars were and where we were, and could she apply? And I told her that we hadn't gotten to that point yet, so I led her to Terry, myself, and we kind of talked with CC and President Jim Wright on that, on how we can move forward with that. But this program would have been ideal for her.
And then now, and also just in the meantime, and I'm not sure if she got connection with it, but the Alabama Department of Public Health also has a program that helps with septic lines and replacements and stuff. Yeah, they can apply for that too, and they help because it's,
Oh, that's
gotta have
good
it.
info.
Yeah, so.
Well, I thought I saw some Madison Park come in here.
Let me give you one more question. How much participation do you have to have in Montgomery before you create this fund?
If we just have one customer, which we'll get more, there's no limit to that.
Okay, so,
And there's a guaranteed $40,000 payment to start the fund. That will be $20,000 in year one, $10,000 year two, $10,000 year three. So there will be guaranteed something.
okay.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else got a question? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, number 4. Number 4 is the dates for the mayor's elections. Sits this, and we need to get this done. Madam Clerk, this can be adjusted later. Madam Clerk?
I don't think it's necessary based off the email we got.
The dates,
Huh?
the dates are set by ordinance.
Right.
So there would have to be an ordinance amending it if there was
So you'd have to
change to the dates. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't think we have to though, based off that email she sent out that it don't fall under that
So-
6-month rule. Yeah, I
It's,
don't think
it's,
it's necessary.
We've been
that
talking about
deals with the
holding this
boundary
up.
line. That only deals with the boundary lines, and it's
This
3
needs-
months. Yes, it's 3
We
months.
can go ahead and do this today and still can be adjusted at a later time.
And we can still,
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
in next amendment.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Blaylock,
Yes,
let me
sir.
ask you a question. On that email that was sent, is the 3 months the deal with the elections?
No, just the boundary lines. The
Okay.
boundary lines have to be set 3 months prior to the election date.
Okay. And what does Act 618 say about the setting the election date itself?
We don't use Act 618 now. The council opted to go with the state code.
Okay, so with that, I guess my question is, part of the whole is really two parts. Part of it is still regarding the annexation of a community, which, depending on who you talk to, they want to come in, they don't want to come in. So we're still trying to flush that out. But what came out of that was questions around the date itself and how the date was set versus what it had been, I guess, at some point in the past in the 2000s and what have you. So the question came up around a legal challenge. Were we within our legal right to have the election in August like we did 4 years ago? So that's in part what we're trying to flush out and I guess really settle with those that have challenged or brought that to my attention about whether or not we are within the legal right to do that. So my question is, does this have to be done today to meet the August deadline or to meet the August election date? Do we have to pass this today to meet the August election date? I'm not clear on whether or not we have to do that today to meet the August date. And then if they choose to challenge it legally, which is their right, if they choose to challenge it, I guess if they were to win, then we would have to come back and then set a new date. Is that what would happen?
If the courts determined an election date, the judge would have to set one.
Okay.
But these dates are set statewide, and
These are
weren't they
set-
adjusted because of the military,
We've
absentee ballot?
We changed from the original one because there was not 6 weeks when they did the America Votes Act. There was not 6 weeks between the qualifying date and the election, as is required for absentee voting. That was the main driver in changing it, and we just went with what is already in the state code that other cities and other municipalities use. So if a judge determines differently, then the judge would have to.
But before he gets to judge, that they have to bring up the legal challenge, which is fine with me. But what we're saying is that we set it now, we have to set it now to meet the August date to be 6 months out. Is that correct?
We need to go ahead and do it because we're already working on the election. The last sentence of this resolution states authorizes us to begin the work with Circuit Court Clerk, who'll be doing the absentee voting with the election center to begin that, getting the poll workers, doing the mechanics of it that takes a while.
Because the ordinance that the council passed actually sets the dates and says pursuant to, and it gives a specific statute, state statute, and that state statute sets municipal elections on the fourth Thursday of August. It's not that they just say in August, they're very specific. So, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, this resolution just for the general public says the fourth Tuesday in August will be August 25th?
August 22nd. The council just has to do a call for the election, which sets the dates and sets the qualifying dates, which keeps confusion about the dates, because just like with the qualifying dates this time, the qualifying is supposed to begin on the first Tuesday of July. Well, that's July the 4th this time. So we will start on July the 5th. There's a provision in there for the next business day. So we've got to set those dates out there so there's no confusion with the citizens as well as the candidates.
So it's just clarifying for the public what the specific dates are as far as the numbers, but it also gives the city clerk the authority they need to move forward with preparing for the election, which is why they're anxious to get it set in place so they can at least go ahead and get prepared regardless of the day.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, it will not, if there's annexations brought in, this will not affect it. You have until May 22nd to bring anything into the city, the council to vote to bring something into the city, and they would automatically go into the pool of voters.
Okay. Thank you very
It
much.
takes care of 4 and 5? Yeah, 5.
Now, 5, we need to act on it if the council so desires after number 10, because it's an amendment to the voting precincts.
5A
And
is
5
changed.
is setting the voting precincts, so we'll need to do that one after number 10.
After number 10?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I'll move it back. Okay, going to number 6. Number 6 is the funds. Now, we were discussing this earlier. I don't think the county passed this today. Is that correct? They carried it over? And I think we probably get the same scenario. So we need to talk about that. Anybody got any discussion on this?
Yeah, what was their reasoning for carrying
Oh,
it?
just about to ask that.
Did they state a reason?
They didn't, I did not get a reason. They did pass the one on the,
And Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'm beginning to wonder, is there some collusion in this? Is there collusion to sandbag this? I mean, it seems to me that there's, because we say one thing in a meeting, and then we come in here and we do something different. And I'm just wondering, is there some collusion that's going on to sandbag the whole deal?
I think
Now, I ain't the smartest person in this room, but I got a little bit of sense. And it just seems like there seems to be a little bit of, we say this and you do that, you do this and we say that. It just seems to be a little fishy in terms of
I don't know
what's
why,
happening.
I don't know why the county didn't do that. I didn't say anything about the city not doing it. I think we need to, in my opinion, this shouldn't obligate any money anywhere. Okay? So as I said last meeting, it doesn't obligate any money, so we haven't done anything other than just say, go get us some bids,
Go out and do the work.
And that's all this actually says, except on the second page, I'm seeing money obligated,
It is money
potentially though, it's not guaranteed to be done there either, so these are potential guarantees, so I don't see any reason we can't go ahead with it, so.
But I guess my question, Mr. President, is, the county comes to the city for a number of things. We do things economic development wise all the time. City does use 60% per the, practice in the county typically does 40%. I don't know why in this case we need to wait for the county to get their act together if we've got ours together.
Well, I guess the point is, half the money is coming from them on all these things we all get.
Well, obviously, and obviously, if they don't do it, then it doesn't get funded.
Right.
Because it has to come back to you all for a vote, and it has to come back to the county for a vote.
All we need in front of us, as far as my concern, is we need to finalize project and what it's gonna cost the city to do it. Then we can vote it up or down at that point and decide if that's what we wanna really do. And this gives our consultants the opportunity to get that for us.
But I think they've done that. The only thing I'm trying to do is to almost pretty much what Ms. Blaylock just said about the election, is to give them permission to move forward with the RFPs to bring back before you all.
Well, that's my point. They'll bring it back to us on what they've got. I mean, we've got some things we already approved, and the rest of it's potential, whatever, but let's get those things done so we can finalize it.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I think on item 6, we discussed this 2-3 weeks ago.
Yep.
And we waited on the county, and we're hearing by the county. I think as leaders, we have to step up and step to the plate. We send it back to them. We're in this deal together for a year and a half. We're paying a consultant to go forward. And just because the county don't act on it, I don't think it's a reason. We discussed this in a meeting that we was gonna act on it. And then if we had questions over the last 3 weeks, those questions was gonna be asked, and we'll move forward. I think we slowing this pony down in order to, we slow it down. We don't get the money spent by December 2024 because we continue to wait on what the county's doing. I can understand what they're doing. They want to disband the deal. But we agreed as leaders, 14 people, 14 people agreed, in the mayor, 15 people agreed on how we were going to move forward with this. And just to keep coming back waiting on the county, what if we met at 9 o'clock in the morning? They're not going to wait on us.
Well,
we need to act as leaders.
I think the point is we need to get something going.
Yeah. And I think we need to
My
vote.
point was, I want everybody to know that the county didn't act on it, okay?
Can we, can I ask, Terry, can you come up is it okay if she came up for a second?
I agree.
Is it okay?
Sure.
Terry, she's like, I don't want to come. Please, Miss Terry. And the reason why I won't, because, listen, I'm not against it. If it's the will of the council to do it. We're gonna do it. I'm not fighting that. But I guess my thought is these fundings in here, you can't do RSVs without county and city funding. Is that right? You have to have both of us on board in order to do these, to bid something out or to put out an RSV? No?
No, not necessarily. I mean, the way the planning was done, the full allocated amounts include a contribution from the city and a contribution from the county for those full amounts. But if either body opted to move forward on any particular item, well, then we could move forward with the procurement. And if you all voted for that, well, then you could put your half of the money up, and the county could come back and put their half of the money up. But from our perspective, because we work for each entity in your individual capacity, if either one of the entities says, we want you to go forth and procure and let us know what procurement options we have, well, then we would do that. But we need either one or both of the bodies to direct that. Okay. Does that answer your question?
It did.
Charlie, I have a quick question.
Okay.
Terry, quick question to Mayor. If we go ahead and vote on these tonight and say the county does not vote on theirs, do we punt and come back because some of these were joint collaborative ideas?
All of them are
We gotta
joint
think
Or
collaborative.
about
do we
it,
stay do we stay that course with, and just half the money? I'm just asking.
Let me say this. If the county doesn't come back, then maybe we just start the withdrawal on $10 million we appropriate to them for Whitewater.
I agree.
I'm okay with
Okay?
it.
Absolutely.
So if folks aren't going to stay true to their word, then what good is the word?
We done got serious now.
Hey, I have one more. And I talked to Terry, and this has something to do with it. I want to pass out a resolution tonight about helping the citizens in Flatwood. And
Absolutely.
We
I
can,
love
and I've talked to Terry and Susan with Commissioner Sankey. It qualifies. And you know all the terminology, but it qualifies. And I'm going to pass it out and we can carry it over. But
Well, and if I could, Councillor, just because this is my role, and we had a great conversation with Ms. Bailey today after she presented at the county.
And she was supposed to be here today.
She gave a great presentation. So she did the first step, which she submitted through the portal, but there's several additional steps on compliance and she and I spoke for about 30 minutes this morning, and so she's pulling that information together to confirm that it would be a compliant expenditure. Certainly with the information that you've shared, we believe there's a path to compliance. And then I'll also add for you guys, just as a reminder, when you look at phase 1 and phase 2 together jointly, you've allocated about $64 million. So when we talk about what's remaining, it's really about $12 million between each entity. We circulated an update, but the procurement on most of those phase 1 programs, small business, the staff has done a really good job of completing those interviews. Same with critical home repair, those evaluations we got back today. So I just want you guys to know that that procurement process, because of the compliance, it takes a little longer than you're probably accustomed to, but it is 85% there. So I expect some of those sub-recipient programs that you all agreed to be in a position to come back before you guys within the next 3 weeks or so.
Hey, did the county do anything on the United Way in the Flatwood community today?
No, sir, not today.
They didn't do anything about that
Not in
either?
the form of a resolution, no, they did not.
And Mr. Pruitt and Council, I just want to add this, that we're here. Flatwood lost their community center. That's one of the only community centers the county has, and they're neglecting them right now. I think as a council, most of these community centers sit in our districts. And I can't speak for every other council district, but I can tell you every piece of crime that's happening in Montgomery is linking to North Montgomery and District 3. And we need this hospital violence intervention. We need this violent crime programming. We need critical home repair for 3 and 4, and maybe 5 and 6. We need all of these things in our community, because guess what? When crime happened in Montgomery, they don't call those county commissioners. They act like they don't exist. They call us.
Right.
They're
Amen.
talking about us.
Amen.
So we need to make sure that body cameras are put on MPD. We just was on Alabama.com right now about a dog getting released, and no camera footage is released. It's so much, it's hitting us and it's hitting our backs. And we need to make sure that we're covered, our officers are covered, and our community is covered, because we answer for that. And they voted us in to make sure that they're straight. And I know I can't leave my community members out like that.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
And I think Ms. Johnson spoke well. You know, we have to act from a city standpoint, whether the county does anything. And that's where we have to talk the talk and let the citizens know that they're not acting. We can't go in partnership with them, and every time we turn, they're hesitating. We all agreed on what we was gonna do as leaders in this city, and collaborated together, and now we're coming up where we wanna hold it up. We agreed on this months and months, meeting after meeting, and if they don't do it, we have to let the citizens of Montgomery County know that they're not acting on some of the things that we talked about doing.
Well, and I think, CC, I think the mayor answered it eloquently when I asked the question, what do we do if they don't do it? So, I mean, I think we got our answer.
Yeah.
And well, and let me, with that same, what Terry went to? Oh, with that same, while we in that vein, I would like for us to, and I don't know what the will of the council is, but we have some things listed here, and I just think it's time for us to start passing resolutions about certain things and stop just saying we got this and they're gonna bring us some numbers back. You know, we know some numbers. We don't have to look for numbers anymore. So just like we did with the sewer, tonight we have a resolution for it, and so we need to pull out stuff that we know is priority, that we all agree on, and we say, we want to do that. Let's do resolutions for that. And I think as we come together week after week, we need to just go ahead and name them out while we're here so that Terry can start working on those resolutions. I think it would benefit us so that we can show that we're wanting to move it now. Now it's time to just start moving. If it come down that we don't get the partnership with the county,
So be it.
then, you know, we'll find out, we determine if that's something we want to fund with the 40, you know, that 40 million we have, and then we move forward. But either way, I just think that we need to start doing some resolutions about some stuff versus just
Okay.
omnibus,
All
whatever
right,
that
let's
is.
move on. We gotta let go of this, Anthony, okay? We know we're gonna go. Item number 7 is the Lions Pride on South Court Street. And they'll be
Yeah.
here at 5.
Yeah, I don't have no problem with that. I thought this was a grocery store, it's an actual service station. Yeah, we're gonna move on with it.
Okay. All right, number 8. Number 8, that's that deal with the boat ramp. I got no problem with that.
I don't either. I think it's excellent.
I hope,
Mr.
I just hope
Compton
they
is
can
on
do it.
military
I
leave
mean,
right now.
huh?
I'm excited about it.
That's a very dangerous part of the river, and I just want to make sure they know that. Currents are really bad in there. Okay, number 9. Auto, you got,
Yeah.
Metal Auto Parts?
Are you coming up by number 9?
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's current on his taxes and all. He has not renewed the business license yet. He's supposed to be getting me some figures that we need to calculate the amount due for the license. I've given him, said get them to me as quickly as you can, preferably no later than the end of the week. I'd like to recommend maybe we carry this over to the next meeting. And hopefully by then I'll have everything in terms
And you
of the
say
license.
he does not have a business license?
He has not renewed the license for 23 yet, ma'am.
Okay. Do we have any, Mr. Hodge, do we have any numbers on how many complaints or citations or, Ms. Conway, Mr. Hodge, I'm quite sure. Kipper Tate ain't in here, is it?
We've had a handful of nuisance complaints related to vehicles being parked and encroaching on the right-of-way, but outside of that, it's been minimal number. I would say 5 or less in the last couple of years, and the majority of them were just in the last couple of weeks. The issue we had with the complaints was, like I said, the vehicles that he's parked that do encroach the right-of-way. There is no tags on the vehicle. He's a salvage yard, I believe, and so there's no way for us to cite a car for being in the right-of-way.
And that's, city ordinance doesn't allow for that, right? To have a car in the right-of-way like that?
I don't believe so, no ma'am, but I know from the property maintenance division, we don't have any means of enforcing that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. We'll carry over number, okay, and then number 10 is the change of amends the deal, then you take number 10, then number 5 can go after that. Okay? Number 11. Now this is where doing away with some the property being Waterworks is going to sell some property. Is that correct? Okay. Now, this kind of, are they selling the property to Equal Justice Initiative?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir. It's for EJI.
And this is Wisden Road, is it?
11.
I read this last night. It looked like it was 16 acres of the Board Property County to facilitate Manor Development Project South.
There's one that was pulled. They had 2 on here.
Okay.
That very first one is the one that
Okay,
was
the
pulled.
second thing is what we're talking about. Okay.
Yes, sir, the second one.
And this is the site. Okay. All right. Good deal. Anybody got a question on that one?
No.
Okay. Number 12. This is about the carts.
The scooters.
The
They're
scooters.
coming up now.
Okay.
President Jim Wright, they
Get
asked if you
something
come
else.
down and sample how the scooter works.
Yeah, I don't think so. I tried one of those. My grandson's got one. And it wasn't built for me.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jim Wright, Robert Smith, City Planning Director. What we have here before you today is the license application approval for Bird Rides, Inc. We started working with them back in January of 2022. As you recall, we drafted an ordinance that basically would regulate all shared motorized mobility providers within the city. In March, modeled after one in the city of Atlanta. You all, as the council, you passed ordinance number 24-2022, which are the procedures for regulating the operations of shared motorized mobility devices within the city on June 21st, 2022. And once that ordinance was approved, we shared that with Bird Scooter, Bird Rides, Inc. And after that, in late June and early July, they began to analyze the city, primarily here in downtown Montgomery, where the heaviest tourist activity and other related activities related to state, local government, military, tourist, to decide where the best scooter share location for parking would actually be. And we as a planning staff gave Bird general locations that we thought would be good locations for scooter parking, such as being co-located next to the bike share stations, which we already have in place right now, major destinations within downtown, and at or near historic sites, parks, and other locations. After that, we have been kind of in a back and forth mode, working together to get ourselves settled on a map based on the available right-of-way and overall space available until we arrived at a final map that was used to put together the long list of scooter share locations in the spreadsheet that you all have in your package. So the license request to operate has gone through multiple departments within the city, internal to the city, and we believe that we've arrived at the point where we're ready for you to consider this. So again, this is at no cost to the city of Montgomery. Won't cost the city anything, but it will cost the price for people that actually ride the scooters themselves. And we've actually got a couple of examples or samples of.
What does it cost?
I'm sorry?
What is the cost?
Bruno will actually get into that in his presentation.
Okay.
I don't want to steal his thunder there. So I'm going to turn it over right now to Mr. Bruno Lopez, who is the contact that I've been working with over the last several months, who is in charge of Bird Scooters, government partnerships, and he's going to give a brief presentation about Bird Scooter. And also, I had Mike. There was the other presentation that was really showing the maps. Not this one. This is the one that Bruno's going to give.
Okay.
Just wanted to really just kind of show everybody the locations
we got a lot to cover here.
Where they are citywide, and then I'll turn it over to Bruno. And that may, looking at it, it may be too small. Okay, now he's blowing it up. So this map right here just shows a distribution of where they are across the whole entire city, across all 9 city council districts, with the majority concentration right here in downtown in District 3. Next one, Mike. And that next one is really just an aerial photo of downtown. I know this is a bit hard to see, so we'll skip to the next one. Next one, Mike. And blow that one up. This is the one that's actually in the business license application, just showing the red dots basically represent scooter share locations on the screen. And the next one is just a table of the 197 locations that these locations are requesting for the right-of-way approval. And now we'll go back to the Bird Scooter presentation. Turn it over to Bruno.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, and council members. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to be here. We're excited about the opportunity to serve the city of Montgomery, and hopefully we'll be here in short term. My name is Bruno Lopez. I am the Senior Manager of City Partnerships for the company. With me today is Chris Stockwell, our Director, and also part of your Montgomery team would be Nick Mitchell, who's not present. He would be your Account Manager, and Neil Patel, who's Director of Operations. little bit about us. Who is Bird? In short, we are an electric micromobility vehicle sharing company with a simple goal of helping cities realize their goals of solving that last mile, first mile traffic solution and decongesting streets, and of course, lowering carbon emissions with equitable access to transportation. About our story, we began in 2017. We were actually the first company to launch a shared micromobility program in the US. And today we are now operating in 5 continents, 25 countries, over 300 cities, and 75 universities, and have provided over 100 million rides worldwide. Recently, we were the first American company to go public in the micromobility space. We are now publicly traded in the New York Stock Exchange as BRDS is our ticker. But, of course, bigger is not always better, and one of the things we pride ourselves at Bird is maintaining that white glove service that makes sure to cater to every kind of city, because every city has different challenges in front of them. So you can see here on our map that we are the largest operator in the Southeast US, but we cater to cities of all sizes, and you can see that by the smallest market that we have in Sebring, Florida, with a population as little as 20,000. And we do that by really taking a local approach. You see that we've assigned 4 senior account managers to your account. That's how we make sure you have all the resources necessary to have a successful program. A little bit about our scooter, which we have here, the latest iteration of our scooter, the Bird 3. I won't get into too much details, but did want to touch on a couple of things that really set us apart from other competitors. This scooter has over 200 sensors on it, including a tipped over detection sensor. It has a kickstand that is more like a moped, so it's much more likely to withstand heavy winds or anybody who tries to knock it over, unlike a lot of our competitors who have more of a bicycle kickstand. This actually can resist up to 40-mile-an-hour winds. It also has a smaller tire, and unlike most of our competitors who use a hard shell, usually plastic, this is a pneumatic tire that actually has air in it, and it self-inflates if it ever punctures, but it really is tough to puncture. The result is a much smoother ride, a much safer ride. So again, just some of the smaller details that set us apart from other companies. We will have this around after the meeting if anybody wants to come take a look at it. It is unlocked, and you're welcome to hop on it, give it a ride if you like. We'd love to have you on it. I want to tell you a little bit about the approach that we take, which also, after years of servicing so many different communities, we've kind of reached this best practice of doing a phased deployment. We think this is very important for a successful launch in any new market. Essentially, our contract agreement with you all allows us to have up to 500 scooters in the city, but we don't think that 500 is what Montgomery needs. Really, the reason we came to that number is to allow the city some flexibility should there ever be some special events or future growth. But what we really want to do is make data-driven decisions. Let the riders tell us, let demand tell us how many scooters should be on the ground. So our phased approach to this is, and the time frame is in flux. Of course, this will be up to the speed that the city wants to move at. But we're thinking potentially in March, we could do the first phase launch with something of a smaller fleet, 100 to 150 scooters. That would allow our operations team to sort of get their feet wet. And while we do hire local and they are going to know the lays of the land, they've never managed the scooter program here. So this will give them some time to get accustomed to see where some of the pain points are and things like that, and sort of get an operational rhythm. And then, of course, we'll start reaching out to the community and educating them on the do's and don'ts, how to ride, where to park, and that, of course, also allows them to get their bearings and get more comfortable with the program. Then a month or 2 down the road, potentially in April, we'll sit down with Robert or whoever the council wishes for us to work with and analyze the data that we've covered over those first couple of weeks of operation and see if the demand is there to justify bringing in a bigger fleet. If the ridership shows that it is justified, then we'll determine what that number should be. Our best guess is that Montgomery is probably about 150 to 250 scooter market. Again, we'll make that decision along with the city and make sure that it's data-driven. But if that's the number where we land, then we would bring in the extra vehicles to town and, of course, start to further educate the riders. We'll take all that data that we've collected, see where are some of the issues. Are folks not understanding where to park? Are folks riding on the sidewalks? And we'll tailor our communications to the riders to address those issues. Of course, in you know, always working with your communications team to make sure the message is just right. And then I've spoken long enough. I'm going to switch it over to my colleague,
We
Chris.
got to move on. I've got lots going on. So, anybody got any questions?
We
Go
like
ahead.
it. We like it.
We like it. Looks good.
We like it.
I have one, maybe two. How many employees are you projecting to hire? I think I heard you say something about employees.
Yes, so the folks that are on the ground managing the program, we call the fleet managers. Essentially, they're the ones that charge them and rebalance them. And that depends largely on the capacity of each fleet manager. It could be anywhere between, for every 25, and some fleet managers manage as many as 100 vehicles. So it depends on the capacity of each fleet manager. But we'll hire anywhere between, for every 25 to 100 scooters, we'll hire a fleet manager.
Okay.
And we have been working with Mr. Smith already to identify a local person, and he is in the process of interviewing and going through that process. So, but if you have any more recommendations, please bring them to us. We're definitely interested and would love to hire folks that you all endorse.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I think I can speak for the whole council. We would actually like to see you get on that scooter right now.
And just ride
And if you can ride it, we'll give you your license, and if you can't, you ain't getting one. Is that a deal, Charlie?
Yeah. I'm not getting on it.
All right.
And Robert, I got one more question for the group while they're here, while he's getting ready to ride. The community engagement, how will you all conduct that, the community education piece?
We have a whole sort of playbook on community engagement. We work with nonprofits in the area. We work with, we would work with all the universities and colleges in the areas to go over all different aspects of the community engagement and outreach that we do. We would also do that internally as well. So members who are individuals who use the program will get information from us as well. Sir, you were interested in the pricing piece of it. On there, you can kind of see the general idea, right? It's $1 to unlock a scooter, and there's a per minute fee after you ride it. Now, the second piece of it is we have a plethora of discounts for different communities and different organizations to make sure that's affordable for everyone that wants to use it.
Okay. Real good. Okay.
Now, sir, where's your helmet?
All right. Proven. It works. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 13. Gotta get through the agenda here. We're gonna run late tonight, people, so just bear with us. It's gonna be a long night. All right, number 13 is the waste disposal ordinance. This is part of the, this is phase one. This actually takes care of money.
Anybody got
sewer.
any questions about that?
No.
I have no question. I'm good with this one.
Absolutely excited about
We're
it.
good. Good. Number 14. 14, this is, I'm not so sure I understand all this. I gotta do some reading here. This one kind of bothers me.
It's a grant, Mr. President. I don't know who's here from community development.
She said that the requesting the grant would come later, she being Kilbree.
Okay.
This is just setting aside the 50% that was the city's match.
Miss Porter is here. She's right there.
Is she?
Yeah, she's sitting right there.
Yeah, she know,
We want to hear about it, Kilbree.
Is this the Cypress?
Right, it's just the start for the development piece of it. But I'll let her better explain it.
Okay.
It's, the resolution is to hold city funds or the trails allocation of ARPA funding as match for the Land Water Conservation Fund grant.
So when will these funds be available? Is it a grant? We're trying to get a grant?
We're trying to pursue a grant.
Okay, what's the chance of getting it?
If we got the match high.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Kelby, when will we get it?
Yeah, if you give them enough, I'll bring it on. I'll bring it to you. Okay.
So the application is due March 1st for that one, and then the same for the second grant. It's due February 28th. So they're both for us to reserve match from the ARPA funds that are set aside for trails.
Okay.
So with the first one, we'll potentially get up to almost $500,000, and the second one is up to $25 million. The maximum is $25 million.
Is this all part of the River Trails deal?
No, it's transportation and infrastructure, so not just one thing. We do not have the match to pursue these larger grants, so the strategy that we're going with is using trails as a part of a bigger transportation project so that we would have the match funds to pursue these opportunities.
So did you say $25 million?
Mm-hmm.
Is that supposed to come from the ARPA funding?
Up to, no, the grant application, we can apply for up to.
25 million, okay. And now, is the money for Cypress coming from the,
Trails.
yeah, the trails, or are they really two separate?
Two separate things. But they're both, we're doing the same thing, but with two different resolutions. So the resolution number one, the first one is for the Land Water Conservation Fund through a DECA for 50% of the grant. And then the other one is for 20% of the proposed project, and this is through the Department of Transportation for the RAISE grant.
Kilbree, when will we know we got the 6 months, 3 months, year, what is it?
It's between 3 to 6 months, but with previous grants, we applied for reconnecting communities. We were supposed to have a response by now. We have not received a response yet. They did send out an email saying that the response will come later, but.
So you said you had to get a response, but how long has that been? 6 months?
What was that?
You said you don't have a response yet from Reconnect Communities.
Mm-hmm.
How long's that been?
It has been since October.
Okay.
We applied in October.
Okay.
And then this money is coming from ARPA funding, is that right? Or is
Yes,
this
from the
just-
trails allocation.
Oh, okay, just from the trails, what we
Yes,
allocated
from the
for
trails
trails.
allocation.
So that's why in my mind, I was thinking it's from the trails money, because
Right.
it's from that same
So this is-
allocation.
But it's
Have we
for,
already-
not just for
Have we already
trees.
authorized the trails?
It's
you have-
pre-allocated. It's
in that
obligated.
omnibus.
5 million?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know we voted on 5 million.
6.
It's 6. 6.
We voted
We
on 6
did
million?
the allocation through, what's that, phase one?
Phase
Sarah?
one.
Yeah,
Mr.
phase
President,
one.
not only did we vote on the allocation, we're not spending any money. This is, think of in your mind escrow. This is
Okay.
to apply for these grants.
Right.
There has
Okay.
to be an allocation, and the money is already there.
Correct.
We need to identify them so
Okay.
that they can go out and apply
Okay.
for these big grants.
Right.
So think
Okay,
of
good.
escrow accounts.
All right.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay, all right, thank you. That gets 15 and 16, I guess, 14 and 15. Same thing on both of them, right?
Yes.
Okay, 16 is the MMB group. We talked to them at the regular meeting, liquor license, okay? Number 17, liquor license, we'll talk about that with them, highway. That's on District 2. Then we have appointments, 18, 19, 20.
On 17, I've got some pushback
For the county,
from the county
county sheriff.
But the problem is, I already spoke to the guy about a month ago about there was a change of ownership.
Yeah, they already got one now? They already have liquor now?
You 17? Yeah, we spoke, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and your basically was going to take over.
He's selling the business, and we're coming in and changing a few things, but yes, we want the driving range.
Well, since then, since we spoke, I was for it. I didn't realize there were issues out there from the prior ownership, but
me either.
The sheriff and the people all around are like, they don't want it.
Yeah.
And so,
the license that's been there they've been there for 6 years. I think it's been a driving range since 2003.
Right.
So any change in the license?
No, sir.
Same license, been there 6 years in a row?
Yes, sir.
So they've had a liquor license the whole time?
Yeah.
A different name, oh, okay. All right.
It's a 15-acre
Yeah, I
lighted
know
driving
it's that.
range.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you, yeah.
The biggest thing they're concerned about is the traffic, and there's been, I think
It's
there's
really
been.
not any
doesn't
traffic
change,
back
though.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. We're still in the work session, we're not at the regular meeting yet, so we'll be bringing it back up in the regular meeting after sometime later tonight, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Number 23, that's your abatements, and then number 24 is tear them down. And then you've got some other things here that they'll be brought to the floor, another appointment, and then a resolution on Flatwood after that conversation. Okay. All right, public communication now. This afternoon, Chief Albert was going to talk about the false alarm reduction program. Y'all buckle up, it's going to be a long night. Okay?
The number on 14. Oh,
Oh, that's it. That's it. Go ahead.
Hi, good
Yes, sir,
evening,
go ahead.
council. I'm here to answer any questions you have about the false alarm program that's been implemented by the City of Montgomery Police Department.
Now, we have not implemented it. We have not enforced this for how many years?
The ordinance was written in 2001.
Okay.
During COVID, under our previous administration, a request was sent forward to have an outside company begin enforcing the city ordinance. That began in November of this year, or of 2022.
And what's been the these letters are coming from some out-of-state
Correction, the company is called PMAM. They're out of Texas. The split is 80-20, with the city getting 80% of the fines, and then the company, they keep 20%.
Fines or revenue?
Correct.
We're going to fine the people for not doing it?
Correct. So the first 3 false alarms, there is
Okay.
no fine. The fourth and subsequent alarms are $25, and they increase by $25 up to $100 for the 7th false alarm.
So this is a false alarm on personal property?
Personal or business, so it's a home or a residence.
Okay.
And a business.
So if it's a monitored alarm system, it needs to have a license.
Correct. And so if the police department responds to a home or business alarm and we determine that it was a false alarm, then it's coded one way. If it's something like a weather-related event or something that's outside of the control of the homeowner, then they would not be charged for that false alarm.
And we still got the same number of offenders that we had 10 years ago? That's the same? And we have normally the same offenders all the time?
Correct.
We did then?
Correct.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Will O'Connor, are you going to speak about the river trails? We gotta get moving here. We're going to run all night. I got to move everything up as fast as you can. 3 minutes as quick as you can.
Mr. President, if it pleases council, I'd be happy to bump this to the next meeting.
Let's do that. Move it to the end of the next meeting, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Will.
Bob Magoo.
I'll be real quick. We're here seeking funds for the Hilltop Arts Festival. Currently, our biggest single expense is going to be hiring the off-duty police officers. They're about $210 a piece before the administration fees. Other than that, we've got grants to cover artists, things like that. We've got tons of information here that we're going to pass out to you, but in the effort of brevity and quickness, just, if the city could do something to help with basically hiring these off-duty police officers, because that is by far our biggest expense.
How many are you trying to get?
4. That's what the city is requiring us to get.
All right, I'll see council members across the board will start trying to help you, okay?
I'll help you, Bob. Yep, you'll get the help.
Okay, Ours Lewis. Ms. Lewis. She's going to teach us about palms. 37.
I just really came here to thank y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
And that y'all thank whoever put them lights out there around the building. Tell them I thank you. But I almost didn't get here because I went to Dexter Avenue to get my new sign made, my Christian sign, and this thing came by me. That thing right there, y'all just probably gonna vote in. I had to move back and I almost fell. And so I called the police over that I saw. And I told him, he said, well, they can be on the sidewalk. They are transportation. I said, well, if they transportation, why aren't they on the street? I said, if I had got knocked down, could I have sued the city? Or who would pay for my hospital bill? I almost didn't get here. I wanted y'all to hear that. Thank whoever put them lights out there. God bless them.
All right. Regina Davis. Regina Davis.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is my daughter and Miss Margaret Smith, live in the neighborhood. I'm here to thank y'all for what y'all have done so far. But like I said, it's been a change and it has been arrest, but the other stuff is still going on. And we need some help down there.
Yes, ma'am. So I called you back. We got before the meeting. I've driven by a couple of times. It's not okay. I do not know what else to do. There were some arrests made. They apparently got bonded out. They're back to no good. The cycle continues. We've got a big systematic breakdown in the judicial system of people getting out. I don't have an answer for that. If I did, I would give it to you right now, and I don't have an answer. So I'm asking MPD and Chip, wherever Chip is, the council has been, I'm doing the best that I can with the authority that we do or don't have. So we need to get with Chip Hill, wherever Chip is, and MPD after this session so that we can hopefully get MPD back on the case over there.
So these people are being bonded out right back on the street, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
He was out.
So we lock them up and they come right back?
Mm-hmm. And he's on the back street.
So are these felony arrests, or are they just
Yes.
misdemeanors or what?
Drug trafficking.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. We are still doing details in this area. We never stopped. We will continue, and this is something that we will continue to do throughout the city, especially in an area that, there's an issue. When we're out there, nothing is going on, but we occasionally have to, we hear different things, and then we respond immediately to the area. But it's a situation that we're just going to have to be on the spot and catch them in the act.
May I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Are you arresting people for felonies and they're getting right back out of jail?
We are arresting people. As far as I know, the ones that did get arrested have not been released. I'm not aware of anybody
You're
being
not
released.
bonding out anymore?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm not saying that has not happened, but I'm just
I know
not aware of it.
At least one occasion lately where they bonded out and a murder resulted. So I'm very concerned about the bonding out of people with felony arrest. And I want, Judge, you hear me, okay? I know our police department picks people up and they got felony arrest or whatever, and then they get bonded back out and they get to go back and do it again. And I think you need to understand they're getting bonded back out, okay?
Yeah.
The system lets them get bonded back out. And that's bad for your neighborhood, bad for my neighborhood, bad for the entire city. So I want to make you be aware of that.
And Mr.
That's
President.
a problem statewide too.
Yes.
Bond issue is a bad situation. It needs to be addressed by state legislature to change its bonds.
And just so you know, this is not okay, and Chip is in the back. He's going to get with you, and hopefully we'll get some attention from Chip.
Other major issue, we don't want anyone's civil rights or violated. That's fine. Criminals have more rights than citizens do. And past that, there's still 2 houses. We've been coming here month after month. I know on the grand scheme of things, it's not important, but we have a bird's eye view. I've served my country honorably 16 years, so I've been places and done things. Montgomery will always be my home, but I never thought that I would see it come to this. It's gonna take everybody to get together. I mean, when you still have shot houses being run. I don't know what, I'm not saying it's not MPD's fault. They've done a great job. But I don't know if you guys need to talk to ABC board or something. I mean, it's obvious. In that crowd, the drug crowd has died. His traffic has died down. Now the other half of it is still the shot houses. And with that, we have people that they're belligerent because they're drunk, they have guns and everything.
I understand.
So.
All right, we'll address it. Thank you.
I understand.
Thank you.
Charlie, I have a quick
Yeah.
question. How many times have y'all been down here?
2, 1. This would be 4.
Mayor and Chip, there's got to be something we can do, and I don't know, and I don't have the answer. There's got to be something we can do to get y'all to stop coming down here and fix your problem. I don't know.
Sir, it should be, but this isn't Bond Road, it isn't Pike Road, it isn't any of that, and it's not fair. Because just on the first, we had a situation where a young lady came into our yard, came approaching my mother while the officer was on scene. And eventually had to call for like 5 or 6 other cars. And they threatened me to arrest me for this ugly conduct. I am service connected 100% for PTSD. What was I supposed to keep doing? In my mind, since I'm not a violent person. But what else was supposed to happen? Yes, I filed a complaint, and someone finally got back to me today, but when they were talking to me, it sounded like I was the wrong person. I'll accept any responsibility for what I've done, but I didn't. We were in our yard the entire time, and this young lady cursed the MPD officer. She jerked away from them and everything. And this was in connection with the guy at 363, you know, he was fussing or whatever because there were unattended juveniles over there that were cussing over at us for no reason. Nothing happened. But I guess he called her because he thought she was just, because she's known to be a rebel rouser in the neighborhood, like she was just gonna come and just beat us up or something. But the officer was already standing there that had just finished talking to us. And all of this happened, and she seemed like she was totally intimidated. The officers that came on the scene was intimidated. But what I want to know is who's going to have to get her a shot on that street for stuff to stop? Because I was this close, and I even told the officers that, yeah, I may have been a little upset, but by no means did I disrespect anyone or anything like that. So why would they threaten me to arrest me? I didn't do anything.
Ma'am, thank you for your service, first off. And Glenn, I think this is a perfect segue into us doing another public safety committee meeting and figuring out what we need to do for accountability for our officers and for accountability for those members in the community. Because I get calls all the time where I have seniors scared to go outside in Highland Gardens and in Highland Park. So this is not just this community, but a lot of our communities. And sometimes it does seem like arrests happen quicker in other parts of town than it does in some. So I think this is a perfect segue into that. And also, hopefully, Chip can help you with that issue because you're here now. A lot of people don't have the courage to do what you're doing.
But you know, but I seem like they're all going against them, talking about they're being harassed and stuff, but it's not like that. We're trying to do the best that we can to aid, you know, to speak up, because for a long time we didn't. But we know that the MPD can't do it by themselves. So, which is why anything I know I say, but excuse me for crying, but I'm angry.
Yes, ma'am.
And
I understand.
I'm let down.
And you have every right to be.
Charlie, I know we're in a hurry, but we need to get these ladies some answers.
Chip, raise your hand.
I mean, we've
Okay.
got to get these ladies some answers.
Can y'all go talk to Chip back there?
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you. Okay, Virgil, what's the name, Virgil?
Mr. Virgil Chain.
Yep.
Go ahead, sir.
All right. Good evening. I'm Virgil James. I'm the race director for the 7 of Montgomery 51-mile relay and bike ride. I'm coming here to solicit support from the council. We've already had support from the mayor for our event. This is our 6th iteration of this event. that's grown from a little less than 200 people to about 1,100 people over 4 days. Our event is on the 18th of March. We have about 2,800 room nights here in downtown Montgomery. We have about 90 vans rented, 6 buses, about 7 moving trucks. And our police costs have increased from 12 officers to about 40 officers for the 51-mile route that we have from Selma to Montgomery. So I'm here soliciting your support. Also, we'll put in a team led by the mayor with all of you to run that 51 miles from Selma to Montgomery.
Okay, but just put me in a substitute.
You didn't tell me I had to. You didn't tell me I had to go that far.
What are you requesting? How much are you requesting?
Well, we have a deficit of about 20,000. Our budget is about 200,000, so we have a deficit of about 20,000.
Please send us all a notice. We'll respond to it, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We will,
the 18th of March, yes, sir.
We will-
Mr. President, you skipped Mr. Gouillard.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, she's not coming. Mr. Big, I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I want to bring some good news.
Thank you.
And the good news is that I want to say thank you to WSFA for coming out to the first Think Big Summit on last Thursday. And I want these words to go out. A special word of gratitude for bringing us together. Thank you, WSFA. We appreciate that you care and that you were there. Thanks be to God. They were there. With that said, Mike?
All right. Make sure we keep it 3 minutes. Let's go.
This is a young lady who was in Raymer early on when I went out to do my Think Big program, and she was in elementary or middle school. But she caught the Think Big vision and the Think Big spirit, and she called me after WSFA showed it and says, "Oh my goodness, that's the man I've been looking for," because she wanted to tell me her story. She told me her story about how God had blessed her and all of her siblings and all of her cousins, and they're all doing very well today. All right, go ahead, Mike. Oh, by the way, on that particular slide, she was a queen at Troy University. Is that a video? She has quite a story about how the Lord has blessed her, and it all, she gives great credit to Almighty God, number one, and to the impact of Think Big on her life and the lives of her siblings and her cousins. And she's a movie star today, and she's residing now on the east side of Montgomery because they have returned to Montgomery. Oh, let's go to the next one. Okay, very well. Okay, that's okay. That's all right. Now, here's the point I want to make. Jesus could not do miracles in certain areas because of unbelief. I hope that you guys have not gotten to the point where you just don't believe that Think Big works, because it works. Think Big works. Believe in God, believe in good, believe in grace, believe in giving, believe in getting, believe in gratitude. That's what Think Big is all about, and I'm telling you, it works. People have to see the message over and over and over again. They have to hear the message over and over again, and it will impact their behavior. I know what I'm talking about. It happened in my life, and it happened in her life, and it happened in the lives of many others. And I want to say thank you for what you've done in the past, but it's now time to put some dollars into American Association for Children, because we've been reaching children for 33 long years. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a 10-minute, okay, Chief.
Council President, if I may just have a minute to address one of the previous issues regarding Auburn Street real quick. What I did hear was that, somewhat in no uncertain terms, that the Montgomery Police Department is selective in enforcement in certain neighborhoods opposed to others. And I want to set the record straight that is not it. I've demonstrated to not only the council here, but to the members and the citizens of this city that we police equally across this city, and there's no boundaries. But what I heard just now was that we're selective, and that's not fair. It's not fair to the men and women that serve. It's not fair to the community. So I just want to set the record straight and look at my record, look at this department's record, that we will continue to be fair across this city and police wherever it leads us. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't say that.
Okay. We're going to take a 10-minute break.
5 minutes.